Coming up on Reliving Single. It's Christmas on Living Single.
Christmas sucks.
You are a great gift giver.
Take that, you Christmas forgetters.
Bah humbug. I put it in my house next to the bed.
I just tried to be all right with my orange and my nuts.
I think I see Santa, Daddy.
I get around. God, cackling over our cauldron. He looked like he looking for some hoes.
Welcome back to Reliving Single, the official, unofficial Living Single Rewatch podcast. And today I am so excited because we are celebrating Christmas. Ho, 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 ho. Wait. Oh, don't tell me you don't like Christmas.
Christmas sucks.
Oh, tell me how you really feel.
I once didn't get a gift for Christmas.
Oh, honey, how old were you?
8.
I can see how that would suck, for sure.
Yeah. But I don't think anybody meant it. I don't think it was intended. My mother each would have a stocking for us. You know, it'd have, nuts in it. Shelled nuts, not like the ones you get now. Shelled nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody would get down with, enjoying Christmas.
Okay.
And it kept going, that people were unwrapping gifts, and I was there looking and waiting for one to come to me, and nothing ever happened.
Oh no.
And I just tried to be all right with my orange and my nuts. And, well, listen, my mother noticed.
Okay.
I don't think anybody noticed.
Right.
Moms always notice.
They do.
And she came to me in our room, because all 5 of us were in the same room, and they playing with their railroad sets and whatever. And then she said, look, Erica, I'm sorry.
Oh.
You didn't get a gift, but, she wrote me this card, and it had a note on it, and it said, the bearer of this promissory note is entitled to, and it had a blank, and it had no expiration date. And I could write what I wanted in there. And, yeah.
Did you?
That's how that went.
Did you write in it?
I didn't. I knew she didn't have it, you know. But it meant something that she gave it to me, girl. She gave it to me.
All right, well.
Yeah. Look, I'm over it. Therapy helps.
Oh, good.
That is big success. Big. Yeah. Take that, you Christmas forgetters. I am big stuff now.
Ooh, you are big stuff. That's right.
That's right.
You could buy your own gifts.
And do so mostly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, you want to cry on my shoulder?
Come over here and get that going. Thanks, girl.
It's gonna take me a minute to get.
It hurts.
I know.
Why
don't we go ahead and get into the episode?
Maybe we need a little break. Break.
It might cheer you up. Stay tuned, everybody. This is Living Single Season 1, Episode 15, Living Kringle. It's Christmas on Living Single, and it's a Sinclair story, which makes me happy because Sinclair is a lover of Christmas, and she plans a Christmas party for the entire crew, but everyone has plans. Bah humbug. It's written by David Cohen and Roger Shulman, directed by our Ellen Falcon, now Gittleson. And then yay, Christmas! And just to have a little Christmas spirit, we have a little Santa on the set.
Yes, thanks, Heartbeat.
Yeah, that's thank you guys for bringing in the Santa. But I would like to say that why Santa Claus always got to be white? Why he always why? You know what I'm gonna do? I have some leftover makeup. I'm gonna hook him up.
Kim. Yeah. Somebody stop her.
Y'all remember that song?
Stop her.
I don't care what the white man says. Santa Claus is a black man. Ooh. Wait. Let me give him a little contour.
Santa
Hold on.
Claus is a black man.
I don't care.
Kim, you giving him a beard. That looks like a light-skinned man with. Show the people. This looks like a light-skinned dude with a beard. You painting the wrong thing. He's got to keep a white beard.
All right.
He got to be a. Good God.
No, if Santa Claus has had some hair club.
Lord,
for men.
today desecrated Santa.
Here we
Lord, now he looked like a cookie.
Okay.
What?
Wait.
Kim, don't mess up his beard no more. Just do his face. Yeah, we
You
should
got a
know.
tan.
We should have known. Yeah, a tan. Thank you. Thanks. All right, let's get going.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho.
He looked like he looking for some hoes.
He does.
Not because he black now. Don't get mad at me, y'all.
What are you trying to say?
I want to be blamed. Here, I know where to put him.
Where? It's time for the rewind, where we watch and relive Living Single with you.
Christmas brings back so many memories. Leaving cookies for Santa, rushing to see what was under the tree, getting my first Barbie.
And the Barbie dream house. Ooh, and the Barbie evening wear.
You got all those?
No.
I starred in the Nutcracker. Got a standing O. No, stop, please. I was the best rat king that school ever saw.
Well, didn't you ever make a star for your Christmas tree?
Nope. But when I was little, I found a starfish I wanted to put on top of our Christmas tree. I love that starfish. My mother said we already had a star.
Khadijah, tonight's the only time we're going to have to be together before Christmas. I've already called Regine, Max, Kyle, and Overton and napped them into coming, so do not make me beg. Please, please, please.
So yeah, that's awesome. We get to spend our first holiday with the Living Single crew.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And your character, Sinclair.
Oh, Sinclair's loving
She's
the
got
Christmas.
this. She's loving it. She's collecting holiday memories from the group. They're all pretty wholesome when you think about
really
it, to be
clean,
city kids.
wholesome, beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice.
Beautiful memories. I love
Yeah,
it.
and Kyle, I think, is a little bit of an anti-capitalist for wanting to celebrate Kwanzaa, because doesn't that like have homemade gifts?
They celebrate giving gifts to one another that's not store-bought.
Kwanzaa. It's a celebration of sharing, an alternative to the commercialism of Christmas. We emphasize handmade gifts.
And, Kwanzaa is new. It's a newer holiday. But what I like about Kwanzaa is that it connects us to the motherland. I think that someone decided that, there's Christmas, but what do we have that also connects to African principles? And
Yes,
so
the
there's
motherland Atlanta or the motherland Accra in Ghana.
Accra. And the principles are all around family and unity and peace and all that. So I love that we see that, and the presents are wrapped beautifully.
That's probably, that works for his capitalism because he don't have to spend no money. It's all handmade.
Side note, we should do a little shout out to TC's Christmas. You've experienced TC Carson's actual Christmas at his house. Every year he does a theme.
I have never been invited.
Oh. Every year he does a theme. One year the tree is pink and green. One year, in Atlanta, this is like a couple of years ago, he did origami birds that all, that he alights to the ceiling, to the walls, and that they all end up on the tree. It's incredible. Origami, folded himself.
Go for it.
You've been invited to
I have not been
Thanksgiving
invited
Christmas
to
or Thanksgiving
TC's Christmas party. But I appreciate that you have, and I'm so glad you're having that dialogue.
Okay.
Yeah. So, by the way, you're also at work asking to have a tree trimming party. The Sinclair character wants Khadijah to give this tree trimming party, and she's not really down with it.
Not into
but
it
you
at
begging for it.
Right.
You're in that spirit, and that's nice. So
I loved Christmas because my parents Christmas Eve, my dad would take us over to Manhattan to see the Rockefeller Center tree, which was magical and big and beautiful and still is every year.
Nice.
And we would get roasted chestnuts and we would stop and get like fried oysters. And then on the way back to Brooklyn, I would look out the window to see if I could see Santa, up in the sky on his way in. And my parents would let me. They go, "Oh, go ahead, Kimberly. Look outside my mother would go ahead, look and see if you can see Santa." And sometimes we took another neighbor family with us. Like, go ahead, children, you look out the window now. And they were probably snickering the whole time. Look and see, I think I see Santa, Daddy. Okay, Kimberly. It all ended when I was 11 and my parents got divorced. But until 11, I had this wonderful experience. My mother would make this beautiful tree and the whole experience.
You know, I want to say really
Fireplace.
quickly, I love this for you. I mean, it was beautiful. And people should have that,
Yeah,
especially a young little black girl
Mhm.
having the magic of Christmas and all of that. But they only had 2 kids, you and your brother.
Yeah. Oh, well,
With
you had
5
them
or
five-
6, they start just,
It
you know,
slows
they give
down.
each person a strawberry and say good luck. You know what I'm saying?
Or promissory note.
A promissory
How much do I love that your mother gave you a promissory note, though, with no date on it? So you still have time
You
to
know,
fulfill that.
I know that's right.
Sammy's still
She's
around.
83. Where's Mama Susu?
That's right. That's right.
Thanks.
You're
We
welcome.
do that.
Get that Christmas of life.
For sure.
My. How'd that mistletoe get up there? I got you now, girl.
I propose a toast. Here's to Santa for giving me the only Christmas present I wanted, celebrating with my favorite cousin and best friends. Merry Christmas.
Happy Kwanzaa. Merry Christmas.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Oh, man. That'll be Miss Meg up in 4B. She got that cranky, low-flow American standard. This could take a while. Sorry, Sinclair.
I understand. Godspeed, Overton.
But hey, we always had a mistletoe.
Ah, yeah.
All right. Yay. Well, I love this.
Okay, so that kiss.
That was our first real full
A
kiss.
full-on kiss.
Yes. Yes.
And y'all made the most of it. You made a meal.
Y'all made a meal of it, and if you notice at the end, I don't think I know what to do with my mouth after there's no more lips
don't.
on it, so I just nibble on the cookie right there.
And then John steps away.
High stepping.
March, high stepping.
Yeah, and Watchdog bow wow.
Watch-
And there's Kyle happy for him, like you got that kiss,
Come on,
didn't
you got it in there.
Mistletoe is the perfect excuse.
So here they are trimming the tree, and they get this started, and then suddenly people start to disappear. The
one
first
by
one to
one
go
by one is
is
Overton. That American standard flow upstairs. you
Yeah.
know. And then the next to go is you.
Yes, Maxine Shaw gets a knock at the door, and it's her boyfriend, Michael, and they just, boom,
Electric.
basically, I ate his face
You
off.
did.
Yes.
Who was actually your real life boyfriend at the
Yes.
time, the Richard Lyons.
Yes.
But his
That's-
shoulder pads were out to here.
Well,
like y'all were ready. Y'all
Yeah,
were
it
ready.
was a hot kiss. Oh, yeah.
And I like when he pulls away that. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, he's
Smack him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
got,
about
looky
to- it's
here,
about to-
I
it's
got
about
to
go
go.
down.
Yeah, and then she hops out.
She hops out because she knows what's about to
She
happen.
knows what's about to
Because he wasn't going to be there.
People wonder whether, as an actor, how do you prepare for something like that?
Mhm.
And when it's your own partner or boyfriend, you can
It was.
you can lean in. And
Was
so
it
he
weird
did.
that you'd be?
Look, you feel freer to have more sexy time. You know what I'm saying? Let me just say that. I did not hold back. There was a probably sharing of saliva that usually does not happen.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that mostly if you do kissing scene, you prepare your breath.
Mm-hmm.
You prepare to make sure you smell good, decent, no colognes, no heavy colognes. Don't do that. Just, your breath clean and you're open to it. That was then. That's what we did ourselves. But now they have intimacy coordinators.
Mm.
Have you ever done that?
I've never done that. I've only had 2 on-screen kisses. One is John Hinton,
Yeah.
and the other is Shamar Moore.
Oh, how would that go?
It was very nice. It was very nice.
Yeah, now and then.
Now and
Well,
then.
that's what.
Very
Now
nice.
he's Hondo.
He's Hondo,
Hi,
right?
Hondo.
Shamar Moore's character came on the show. He was a classmate of Sinclair's,
Mhm.
but Shamar Moore had been on soap operas for years.
Oh, yeah.
And he
He
said,
knows how to
actually,
kiss.
I've never kissed before. You'd be my first on-screen kiss. Like, how is it that you're on a sitcom
What?
and your first, he said, he was excited. Like, you're my first on-screen kiss. I was like, okay, Shamar.
That's racism
That's-
extraordinaire. How you gonna have somebody that fine?
Yes.
And he's not kissing the entire cast,
And I'm sure after this,
including
he
a
is.
few dudes.
Right. Well,
No, I'm serious. Meaning that that character could have done a lot of things.
right. But he said,
wow.
you're my first on-screen kiss. I was like, how is that possible?
Well, did
So
you
he
ever
was ready.
do any work that your partner, your boyfriend was threatened about? Like, have to get that close?
Well, I've dated guys who were like, you better not be doing no kissing on the screen. I was like, okay, I won't take any roles where I have to kiss somebody. All right.
How ridiculous.
And it hasn't.
Were they serious or just playing?
I think they were serious. I think they were serious.
Child, please.
No, but
I'm the whore of Babylon.
Well,
I
you've-
really am. No,
you've had
I mean,
quite
they
a
know.
few.
Oh, Benjamin Bratt, La Mission. That was the mission. Look, he's married to the great Talisa Soto,
Of course.
one of the baddest mamma jammers on this earth.
Didn't you have a Boris Kojo at one point?
Boris
too?
Kojo. Look, I've had none
of that.
around. I get around.
And
Round
so
and round,
you have
round she go.
You have intimacy coordinators, and what do they do?
Well, now they do. They didn't then. Now they come and say, listen, are there places that you don't want touched? You can have a, what is it, like something to say, that's enough? Like you do a tap on the person.
Like a safe word?
Yeah, safe word or safe, some kind of signal to the other person. You've gone too
Oh.
far, that type of thing. I was like, nah, man, I'm going to get in there and dig in. I'm a method actor. What are you talking about?
And you're a Scorpio.
I'm a
So
Scorpio.
go and
Look,
get that.
hey,
Go and
let me
get
tell
that.
you
Go and get
something.
that.
But I have to say, I've been with gentlemen.
Yeah.
They've never done too much. They've done what was appropriate for the scene.
Mhm.
And if the scene, you getting down, you get down. Now, I've always wondered whether they've gotten stimulated.
You didn't
Because
check?
I laid it on them. You know what I'm saying? Only they would know. But look, they might have.
They might
I'd
have.
like to think so.
They probably did.
Oh, well, every time any one of them sees me, they smile big. And then Regine peels off because
15% commission at the boutique.
she
Yeah.
gonna go.
I'll be there.
Girlie, you know she gonna get that money.
Of course. Why
That's
not?
the thing.
Then TC goes. Now, first of all, let's have a moment for his falsetto. And he's got to go because the Tokyo markets are getting ready.
open.
Oh, right.
But he feels for you, so he goes back and he tosses some tinsel
Here you go.
behind his shoulder.
And he boogies out. And then we're left. Me and Khadijah left.
Yeah.
And she offers me to go and hang out at the office and get a little work done.
She didn't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
No.
And then we have some beautiful carolers outside singing the same song. And this is a moment that I could really revel. Like, okay, my friends are gone, but they're the carolers, serenading
Sleigh
me.
bells ring.
Like, oh,
are we
shut
listening?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're mad.
Mad
Because
by
we
then.
think you're going to hang out with them because she's that type of personality,
Right.
but no, you're
I'm
fed
mad.
up.
I'm mad.
Can we talk about the sing-along right
Let's
now?
talk about the sing-along.
Sing-along was off the chain.
And it still is a beautiful meme today. It's all over social media. And so
It
you got
is.
Khadijah, sleigh bells ring. Are you listening?
And then TC comes in the lane,
Snow is glistening. It's so good.
But it's hilarious because you don't expect it
No,
coming.
no,
So
no,
I
yeah.
laugh every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
And that's
It's
what
always a
she
time.
wanted, but she's
Right.
not going to get it. And you
No.
know that's
No.
it. Sinclair now has to find somebody to have this Christmas spirit with.
All this beautiful Christmas spirit is welling up. And what am I going to do?
That's the dilemma.
Here we go. Let's take a look.
A starfish like the one I had when I was little. Merry Christmas, past and present. All my love, Sinclair.
Oh, Corvette. To Regine, hope you find your dream house and your chocolate can. Merry Christmas, love, Sinclair.
To Max, the best rat king ever. Merry Christmas, love Sinclair.
What is it?
It's just 2 tickets to the Dance Theater of Harlem. The Nutcracker.
Where is she?
I don't know. When I got here, I found this note. To whom it may concern. Since you all have more important things to do, I'm going off to find the true spirit of Christmas on my own. Please don't try to find me. Sincerely, Sinclair. She gone, Carl.
Yeah.
Sinclair's thoughtful.
She's very thoughtful.
Right.
She
Even
thought
though-
of everything. It
yeah,
also
yeah.
shows that she's listening to people.
Yeah.
She, is sort of giving them their heart's desire
Yeah.
in a very, pure, very
Mhm.
elegant way.
So obviously these gifts were already planned for them, and this is why she wanted to have this big Christmas celebration, because she wanted to present these gifts. But she snuck into all the places she needed to sneak into in order to. How does she get
Did
into
you
Max's
lose a
apartment?
cat burglar or something? She got in my apartment.
I
The Max's
know, yeah.
apartment. No one's ever seen that, by the way. First time we ever see
Yeah,
Max's
you have a
apartment.
fireplace.
I got a fire.
Nice.
I should have something.
Lovely.
But yeah, that was nice. And she's at the bar.
Mhm.
They don't know that she's at the bar with her childlike wonder.
I know. And the bartender is played by the great Lee Weaver, who is 95 years old
Come on.
and still working as of at
Doing
least
his
a couple of
thing.
years ago. So that's wonderful. We have a Black Santa Claus
Black Santa Claus.
who's a little depressed.
Well, you making him sad. You know, you and Lee telling sad stories.
and he's remembering how bad it can be. I'm there. I'm making some new friends.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, if it isn't Ebenezer Khadijah.
Look, Sinclair, we're sorry we killed your Christmas spirit. Now, if you still want to, we can go home and trim that tree.
Sinclair, we all let worldly matters get in the way of what really matters.
He's right. Let's go home.
Okay. But first, can I get my old friends and my new friends together for just one sing-along?
How about that?
How about that? I've made a whole new set of friends. They're a raggedy bunch, but at least they're there.
You look
right?
like you really at the the bus station for Greyhound.
Really.
But
And let's talk about who's in that bus station right there. So the two gentlemen that start off singing "In the Meadow We Can Build a Snowman," those
are
were the
writers.
writers. That was Roger and David who wrote
yes,
who wrote
Roger
this
Shulman and
episode.
David Cohen.
Right, who wrote
That's
this
right.
episode. Also in that bar is Pops.
Pops,
The guy who was
kept
our first craft service.
That's right.
And he's the gray-haired gentleman who puts his head on Regine's shoulder. And she says, "Can we please go?"
Okay, Chip Fields was there.
Chip Fields.
Playing another role, because it's not the first time we've seen her floating around.
Right.
And she's going to do that until she starts to play the role of Regine's mother. And yeah, but
I
there
love.
she is again.
Also in this scene, we see a repeat of Maxine attracting a gold-toothed dude.
Yes.
So I love that they included that in this episode. Now we're building an even more rich story behind all these characters.
Yes,
and there
there's
he
a great
was.
environment and an ecosystem that's constantly being built by the writers to create this world, but also gives a little throwback to other episodes.
Yeah.
Well, it's a wonderful life. You're busy up until the point where you realize your life is predicated on maybe the fact that you're not paying attention to the details and the small things.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't pay attention in time, it goes.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in A Wonderful Life. He's like, Mary, don't you recognize me?
I know.
Mary.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh,
It's so-
yeah, it really
please.
kills you. But your character and you, I think, Kim, believe in magic. You believe in love and you believe
100%.
in friendship and mistletoe and all these beautiful, wonderful things that are floating around, driving us crazy.
And joy and possibilities and capturing the moment.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that too.
I love that for
and
her.
I
and for
think,
me.
but you're authentic to that. And it's the thoughtfulness and the warm and fuzzy feelings that this character has is essential to the show because it balances out people who are more ambitious and more cutthroat or just more selfish. You are selfless.
I want to talk about your selflessness. You, Eric Alexander. It's interesting that you have this story of not getting the gift that you wanted. And I'm sure that being one of five, I'm sure most of your Christmases were maybe a little light until money started coming in.
Yeah.
But you are a great gift giver. You give gifts that are not only thoughtful, but are a little out of the box. Okay, I'll give you one. I still have
Okay.
it to this day, and I hope
Thank
I don't
you.
start to cry.
Oh, Lord.
There was a point when we were on Living Single, and I kept talking about, I'm going to buy a house. I want to buy a house. Now I can afford to buy a house. And you gave me a working parking meter, like a giant metal. It's heavy.
It's real.
You could put a quarter inside of it. And you said, when you get your house, you could put this by your bed. So when your gentleman callers come over, they have a time limit. Now that you did, yes.
I said that.
And I put it in my house next to the bed, and it intimidated many a man. Well, I don't sound like a whore.
Many.
Oh, I have it to this day. It doesn't work anymore because I use it as like a coin, like a bank.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got it from, but beautiful. I have another gift you gave me. A beautiful plate that looks like a taxi, and it's out of the box, but thoughtful and fun and
Because
great
you
gifts.
like those types of things
I do,
too.
I
Well,
do.
thank you. I think now, and I'm just realizing this now, and I cannot believe that it took this show for me to realize that one of the reasons I give gifts, and I have to stop myself now, is because of the fact that I didn't get
In
one
those
at
moments.
8.
Yeah.
And this is therapy.
This is therapy.
Damn you, heartbeat. I can't believe it. I mean, I
Yeah.
really didn't make the connection.
Yeah.
But to have to tell stories and then realize that, we have maybe, it was traumatic.
Of course.
I did not tell my mother, I didn't want her to feel bad.
Have you ever told her?
No. I didn't want her to feel bad because she worked so hard. My parents worked, and everybody was doing their thing, and it was what it was. And I really felt that in life, the universe, time, balances things. And I think as a child, somehow I knew to be selfless and not cry or make a big deal of it was something that I had learned because my parents were ministers in church, that it was better to give than to receive. And I learned it that day.
You sure
maybe
did.
the hard way, but then also maybe I'm carrying a little bit of it now because I want everyone to feel appreciated. And I want to listen to them and give them something that I think that they'll appreciate.
Yeah.
And the universe has given me so much.
We can all stop and take a look at all those kinds of moments in our lives when we felt lesser than or felt like we weren't getting what we were supposed to have, how those moments inform who we become.
Yeah.
Good and bad. There's plenty of folks who now would have turned that moment into becoming the world never gives me anything. You could have become an angry, bitter, jacked up person. Instead, you turned it and became a giver. An angry, bitter giver. No.
Thank you.
No.
Angry, bitter giver. Well,
Bitter
you know
giver.
what? But I'm now realizing that I can sort of work on that because I know now where it comes from. It's just not me being altruistic. There is something for me to heal. And wow, you know
got
what?
healed
This
right
is
here.
deeper than, do I pay you or do you pay me? Okay, Amber says we pay her. But what are some of the episodes that we've enjoyed in life? It's an anchor to a show to do a holiday episode. It's one of the things that drives Hollywood's marketing, but also anchors the writers to write to these holiday episodes sometime. And there's usually a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
So I grew up with a ton of them. Oh, Little House on the Prairie had a great one with The Gift of the Magi. That's where one of the characters sells their hair, their long hair to make money.
To buy like a watch.
To buy a watch, a pocket watch or something.
Or the chain for the pocket watch.
The chain
I
for the
think.
pocket watch. And
And
then
then the
the
partner-
person sold that watch
to buy
them a
combs.
comb for their hair. Child, you remember those things.
What's also great about this episode is that we highlight Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
And who better than us and who better than T.C. Carson, ask Kyle to introduce Kwanzaa in
And
that way.
that's a rare thing because Kwanzaa wasn't being talked about.
No.
So in this series, we got some, nice traditional conversations going that hadn't normally happened in American sitcoms. By the way, people kept going. Like the Rugrats had a Rugrats Kwanzaa.
The Proud Family had a 7 days of Kwanzaa.
Everybody hates Chris. Everybody hates Kwanzaa. And Juneteenth is similar,
Yeah.
that we're starting to talk about Juneteenth in a national way. They were doing it in Texas and other places. And maybe if you knew some Black people or people who were woke, when I mean woke. But now it is a national
It's
holiday.
a national holiday.
Thank you, Sheila Jackson Lee. Holidays.
Holiday.
That wasn't so bad. This Christmas actually opened me up.
good.
You know what I mean?
Who knew that's what this show was going to do?
Who
Yes.
knew?
And call Sammy and thank her for that and let her go ahead and fulfill that dream for you.
Maybe I'll get some fried chicken out of it. Yeah. So let's get ready for the reverb.
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 This is The Reverb, our time to reflect on the episode's themes and how they still echo throughout the culture.
Hey, so this is Reverb. We're going to talk about the gift of Sinclair James, or Ode to Childlike Wonder of Sinclair James. Yeah.
I get my close up.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. You know what? That
I
is
love that
a
character.
certain archetype
It is.
in story and in fiction. Is one where the Sinclair James is the innocent or ditzy or awkward,
You know, a little daffy, a little innocent, a little weird too. A little
yes,
weird.
eccentric and that type of thing. And so
Yes.
there's other characters like it. So we talked about Chrissy, Suzanne Somers.
Oh, yes. Suzanne Summers did
Was
it
great.
so well. And she was sexy and ditzy and all those things all at once.
Oh, the great Betty White.
Betty White.
on.
Nobody, that Rose
Golden
character
Girls.
on Golden Girls. Karen Parsons, Hillary Banks.
Hilary Banks.
Rich but ditzy, right?
Oh, Cree.
Cree Summers.
Come on, she was great at that. That's Winifred
Freddie.
Brooks. And that's in Different World. Has anybody ever done that to Sinclair, to you? And you ever heard those criticisms about Sinclair being?
I would hear people say, she's so dumb, or she's so, and I'm really protective of her because I don't think she was dumb at all.
Yeah.
But she's a character we hadn't seen much of.
Yeah.
We had seen the strong Black woman. We had seen the mom who does it all. We had seen the sexy Black woman. We had seen the power hungry, the power driven, ambitious woman, but we hadn't seen much of the soft and feminine and open to wonder, open to have that freedom to be able to be weird and be something other. I feel that she's who I was in my early 20s, maybe a little smarter, maybe book smart, but sensitive, and gives people permission to be sensitive. That it's okay to be that. It's okay to be soft. So one of my favorite stories about me. So I go to high school, and what I did was at orientation, I memorized where all of my classes were going to be. My high school, Brooklyn Technical High School, is huge. It's got, 8 floors, and, you had to go north and go west. Like the school rooms were like 1 west 2. Like, where do I go to get
sound like
that?
some Harry Potter
Right.
world.
It was really that. And so I, during orientation, went around the school and memorized where all of my classes would be. So I wouldn't be a freshman looking down at my card and looking up to see, because I didn't want people to think I didn't know. When in truth, I'm very curious, and there's nothing wrong with not knowing. And it's okay that Sinclair or anybody else out there who's naive, that you don't know, as long as you're curious and that you want to learn. You want to know. You want to let life take you where it's supposed to go. I love that Sinclair moves to the big city with her cousin, doesn't know anything about it, and is, surrounded and protected by all these amazing people. And she begins to discover who she is and discover herself. And so Sinclair for me is about discovery and being willing to not know, and being all right with not knowing, and being all right to fall in love with life. And I think there's something about coming from the space of love that no matter what, you're going to be okay. I think that love leads. And if you lead with love, and, we can make it spiritual if you want to, the creator will protect you if you lead with love.
I think there's a testimony to how you play it too. You have many notes in there.
I
And
do.
that's down
I'm
to
happy.
Kim Coles being, as smart as you are, but also just got a delicate touch.
And
You
also
really do.
understanding comedy, that I know that one note, playing her as ditzy all the time, one note is not gonna last
that.
the series
No.
that we had the great joy of doing.
No.
I know that you got to have levels and moments where she shows that she's angry, which I love that, you think she's all light and love, and then she gets really angry about things, and to have that moment there.
Sinclair is a beacon for awkward girls everywhere. So let's give a clap to that. Bravo,
thanks.
Kim. Yay,
Gee, thanks.
Kim.
Gee,
Yeah,
thanks.
there you go.
I'll
Thank
take
you.
it. I'll take
Thank
it.
you. Yeah,
So,
I love it.
permission, I think ultimately is permission to be whoever you are. And I'm glad that we're living in a time now where I don't know if Sinclair, led the charge, but I know that we're living in a time now where it is more accepted and more permissible to be your weird and wonderful self. Let what creativity and freedom can come from all of us being our perfectly imperfect, beautiful selves. Ding, 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 ding.
Mic drop.
And a woo, woo, woo. All right, I want Amber to get ready because we're about to do True Blue, the segment where we hear from our friends, and Amber's going to tell us who we've got.
All right. So we have Sid from the Bay Area. Want to say I absolutely love this show. It makes me feel hope for my own future and comfort in the warmth and coziness of the visuals and relationship dynamics. My question is as follows. What do you guys think all of the character signs were on the show?
Okay. I'm pretty sure that Sinclair would be a Pisces. The good news about that is my moon is in Pisces. What would Max be? Max?
I don't think I know the signs well enough to do this, but I did
Oh.
have this written down somewhere.
I got it. Max is an Aries.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's it.
Absolutely.
You'll take it?
Yes.
Fiery.
That makes sense.
On edge. You better stay loose because anything can happen.
Yeah, also can move for their own selfishness.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know what I'm saying?
A little
Great
bit.
charisma.
Great charisma.
But also I think there's an underlining thing over there that's not so cool.
It's a little bit, me first, but they're worth it.
first.
They're worth it though. Like they're gonna produce and they're gonna be amazing and you're gonna have a great time.
Yep.
It's gonna be me first, and then y'all gonna come right behind me. We're gonna be fine. Yeah.
Okay, Max,
That's it.
Aries.
Max, Aries.
Scorpio rising. Got to get in there.
I think the show in itself, if the show had a sign, the show would be an Aquarian.
Okay.
Dreamers and a little bit of a rebel.
Regine got to be a Leo. She thinks the
100%
sun
Leo.
is shined just for her.
The sun is shining
Shining
only
just
for
for
her.
her, yeah.
Even right now, the sun is out. There's Regine.
Yeah.
I actually think that Kyle could be a Gemini. They're smart. They use language really well. Like if you have a problem, you take it to a Gemini. They're going to give you a spreadsheet. Okay, there's 15 ways that this could go. Here's your options. Here's what you do, and this is what I think you should do.
I think he's a what's Beyonce's sign?
Virgo. Okay, he could be a Virgo. Okay.
Or, yeah, because Virgos are very organized and they like things to sort of
Okay.
be in his place, or like a Capricorn or something. But
Okay.
I think Virgo, because he's also creative and likes to
Yes.
sing. So
Okay.
that's nice.
I like that.
What about Overton?
Overton could be a Taurus. He could be a Taurus because he loves beauty.
Taurus the Bull.
He's stable. He loves love. He's a lover.
Mm.
And being that my beloved is a Taurus, I could see, John Hinton. And he loves, John Hinton is a Sagittarius, but I think Overton could be, what you see is what you get.
Mm.
He's, steadfast and sure.
Yeah. So
Who
then
else?
we
Oh,
already
and then
we have Khadijah. Don't need ya.
Capricorn.
For sure. Yes.
Being
we
that
both
I'm a
agree.
Capricorn, I could see her as a
Yes.
Capricorn.
She's a Capricorn.
Determined, organized. I'm not the most organized Capricorn, but she has a driven on her dreams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And rigid.
Also
rigid.
rigid.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Stable.
Rigid.
Rigid.
Yes.
Stable.
Okay.
See,
Stable.
that's a
Stably rigid.
Stably rigid.
That's fine.
Also what you see is what you get, very grounded.
The real person is a Pisces. So Dana's a Pisces.
She's a Pisces,
Yeah,
right?
TC's a Scorpio. We have the same date.
Right.
We already talked about
John
that.
is a
What
Sag.
is Kim Fields?
Fields is a Taurus.
That's right. She's the Taurus.
She used to invite us to her home at the end of every season and she would cook for us. That is a very sort of
Yes.
Taurus welcome to my home. She's not going to let everybody in her house, only people that she loves.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
so,
right.
Okay.
And then John Hinton is a Sagittarius.
Is a Sag. Fun loving, a little bit of fire.
Do you think Kyle could have been a Sagittarius?
I think Kyle is too serious. Sagittarius are a little bit more fun loving. They're gonna be fun and they're gonna do too much all the time.
Really?
I think Kyle is a Virgo or Gemini.
Well, I got a weird thing that happens to me, and I just mentioned it,
Okay.
that most of my leading men that I'm paired with on screen are Sagittariuses.
Really?
Yeah, somehow I don't meet them in life. They're not like a lover for me in life.
Right.
But Benjamin Bratt, Scott Cohen from a series I
Sag.
did, and also the great Jeffrey Wright.
Ooh.
For some reason in the casting room,
What do they have in common?
that they're serious players.
Mhm.
That when you see them, but also when you see their eyes, you lock and boom, it's all sexy.
Okay. Fire. That's the fire.
Be careful. It's like a tractor beam. Boom. If Jeffrey Wright looks at you,
You're in there.
you're pregnant. You're not just in there. He's not just in there. You pregnant.
How do you think I felt kissing John Hinton and getting paid for it every day? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much, John Hinton. Every time. I'm like,
Get
oh,
it,
hey,
get
get out
it.
of here. Oh, hey, get out of there. Get out of here.
Get
Get
it.
out of here.
I love it. God, cackling over our cauldron.
Well, that's our show. Please
Yes.
don't forget to send your questions or comments to Reliving Single Podcast at heartbeat.com. We would love to hear from you, and maybe your question will be on the show.
Faux show. And make sure to follow us on all our socials at Reliving Single Podcast. And listen to us and watch us on YouTube and Spotify and on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch all the way
All the
through.
way
See what you
through.
would have missed if you didn't watch this whole
All the way
show?
through.
That's
Absolutely,
right.
please do it all the way through. And we'll see you. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye for now.
Reliving Single is hosted by me, Erica Alexander.
And me, Kim Coles.
Reliving Single is a production of Heartbeat in association with Color Farm Media.
Executive produced by Kevin Hart, Jeff Clanagan, Eric Eddings, Leslie Guam, Erica Alexander, and Ben Arnon.
The show is produced by Kim Coles.
Amber Watson is our senior producer.
Our associate producer is Kenny Jackson.
Our other associate producer is Electra Telesford. Our video editor is Nee Kirschman.
Our sound engineers are Eric Hicks and Cedric Wilson.
Production supervision by Razak Boykin and Brett Calkins.
Additional production support from Alex Atkins and Z Taylor.
Special thanks to BK Augustine and Dr. E.J. Johnson.